Hey there, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Game Plan. It's week 9, and we are ready to jump into the player props for this week. Tell you who we think is going to smash it, who's going to go on the under. And this week we've got a little bit of a Halloween theme to our player props as well.
Yeah, we're going to take off the mask of some of these monsters and find out which props have value.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to kick it off with a futures bet that I'm very interested in, and that's the Steelers to win the AFC North. It's currently a plus 175 on Hard Rock for me. The Steelers are 4-3, the Ravens are 2-5. This is being recorded before the Ravens play tonight, which definitely could swing this a little bit. But we kind of expect the Ravens to win, so this number could go a little bit higher for the Steelers. The Ravens are minus 120 to win the division, and they're 2 games behind the Steelers. They're
Yep.
2-5. This kind of makes no sense to me.
Everyone's predicting the Ravens to just bounce back. I think the Ravens were, a popular Super Bowl pick in the offseason. I think people really want their priors, and the defense is getting healthier. Yes. But we also watched the healthier version of that defense struggle the first couple weekends of the year. I think it's giving a lot of credit to the Ravens for pulling it around, and I mean, Lamar's still banged up. This defense has flaws, and they're thinking a very clear turnaround.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 4 of the Steelers' remaining 10 games are in the division. 2 are against the Ravens, including the last week at home in Pittsburgh. So that game, this whole bet could come down to that last game against the Ravens. But I like it. I mean, if I can get a plus 175 on a team that has a 2-game lead almost halfway through the season, I want to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can always play that last game, however it turns out, and maybe use that as an additional way to profit here. Yeah.
Any other futures that you've seen that you really like?
The other future I want to mention, because there is a lot of buzz with Drake Maye and MVP. Right now, he is the third most popular, third best odds to win MVP at sitting at plus 500. But just a better way to play that from my perspective is the Pats to win the 1 seed in the AFC. If you're playing that angle, it's a plus 700 value. And the Patriots have the second easiest remaining schedule. And the Colts, which is kind of one of their main competitors there, have the second hardest schedule. So I think they can make up a game here on the Colts. They also have already beat Buffalo. They'll get another opportunity to play them later in the year, but they have that edge and tiebreaker right now. I like them here. Plus 700 is a pretty good value. If you're thinking Drake Maye wins MVP, they're probably doing it because they get the 1 seed. So why not just take the better odds there?
Yeah, that's great. Plus 700. I love that. Always looking for some value in these lines. How'd we do last week? I know we hit the parlay.
Yeah, we hit the parlay. We had a great week. We really only lost on a couple of our bets. Looking back through our touchdowns. So we had, for our touchdowns, Rome Odunze did not come through and Tez Johnson did not come through. We had the Jonathan Taylor too, and then we had Saquon, so it kind of balanced it out. A lot of our props, so Michael Penix didn't end up playing, so that one voided. Josh Allen, we hit our under. McMillan, we hit the over. And Jerry Jeudy didn't catch a long pass. That was so easy. I don't think we'll see that line again. Yeah. And then picking on the Titans paid off. We'll have another same game parlay coming up later in the episode, so excited to get into that.
Yeah, well, let's jump into them. What do we got this week for our prop bets that we like?
So some of the players we're interested in, these are all going to have their Halloween theme, so everyone's in costume this week. First, we are starting off with Troy Franklinstien, the wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Troy Franklin, under 45.5 receiving yards. I'm really just trying to find all the unders I can play in this Broncos and Texans game. I think this is a great line here because Troy Franklin took advantage of that banged up and just bad Cowboys secondary, and he had 89 yards. So I think this line is just higher than it should be. Before that, he was seeing 19 yards, 17 yards. So I like this line. He's only hit it once in the past month, and these Texans are going to be a lot better than the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Texans defense is kind of scary good, and we haven't seen the Colts play them yet, have we? That
Not yet.
Should be fun. But this game's in Houston. I think, things get real for the Broncos, and I like all their unders. I'm not really sure where I'm going on the Texans side of the ball, probably because they're at home. And we have seen the Broncos defense have some holes in it.
Yeah, I think
But
maybe the best way as a home favorite is maybe taking like Nick Chubb's rushing attempts. That one wasn't available yet, but that'd be a way that I would play it.
all right, well, we'll just go with Troy Franklinstien to hit his under because I do like that one. What else have you got?
All right, so piggybacking off a nickname that this player gave himself, we got Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Jahymr Gibbs, over 23.5 receiving yards at a -110. And really, I just love Gibbs in this matchup. We highlighted a lot of his prior history against this Vikings defense, but he's also getting a lot more work than previous years. So that split with Montgomery is not really a 50-50 like we've seen in the past. It's more of a 60-40 leaning towards Gibbs. And you want to get these running backs in space against the Vikings defense, kind of punish them for bringing pressure. And it puts Gibbs in a lot of these one-on-one opportunities against the linebacker. And he's one of the best in the league in those spots. So I like him in his over for receiving here.
I love this bet. It feels like he does this almost every week. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's pretty low, the 23.5 receiving yards. I do love this. So let's go to another one that you've got for us. And we're going to the
We are going to the Bills game. We are going to Josh Allen dressed as the winter soldier, and he is just going to find a way to get it done at home here. And really, that is on the back of him using his legs. So we're taking Josh Allen over 7.5 rushing attempts, and that's -105 right now. And a lot of this just comes down to the mentality that Josh Allen plays with in these gotta have it games. I look back through his game logs in playoffs and against the main competitors in the AFC, Kansas City, Baltimore. And in those games, he had 9 of those games in the past 3 seasons. He averages 10 carries, and then he's hit this line in 8 of 9. He's had games where he goes for 12, 14 routinely. And it's just that mindset of a very competitive game, almost that playoff atmosphere. And he doesn't have a talented wide receiver crew. He's going to find ways to get it done and keep the chains moving.
I love this one. I think he's going to be running all over the place. I think the Chiefs put a lot of pressure on him, and like you said, the wide receivers haven't been great for him. Add in that there's a pretty good chance of rain for this game in mid 40s, and I think we see Allen running even more.
Yeah, on top of that, Kansas City has a really good rushing defense. I think that actually helps this bet because it'll kind of bottle up James Cook and just keep the ball in Allen's hands where we're going to get those scrambles.
Yep. Okay, how are we finishing out these
Here,
player props?
so we got Kyle Pitts coming to the costume party, and this week he is being dressed as a really good tight end. He is finally fulfilling that promise. We're taking his over of 43.5 receiving yards against the Pats. Tight ends against the Patriots have just kind of been a cheat code. They've been averaging over 66 yards per game. And Kyle Pitts has taken advantage of that banged up wide receiving room. He is getting 6 receptions per game. He's heavily involved in the passing, and he seems to have a pretty good chemistry with both. I mean, with Cousins last week, but with Penix throughout the season.
I think I have more concern with if Drake London is playing and if Penix plays. We saw Pitts not doing a whole lot early in the season with Penix. Last week was great with Kirk Cousins, but we also had Drake London out. And if that sets up again this week, then I'm all in on this. If I get a Drake London and a Darnell Mooney, I don't know that I'm going to be in on Kyle Pitts. I don't know. Maybe they won't use Bijan. It should be a competitive game, but the Falcons just, I don't know what I'm getting from week to week.
I think either way, it should be okay with London's availability because if London's there, then it just kind of brings down Pitts on the pecking order for who the defense is covering and who that main thing. But we're targeting the matchup, and that should be clear regardless of just going against the linebackers and not those strong cornerbacks against the Pats. So I think I'm fine playing it regardless of if London's in or out. I think it probably gets a little bit of a bump, but you'll probably also see the line rise if London is ruled out.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right, let's go on to our touchdown picks. The marvelous touchdown picks.
Yeah, so we got some players all dressed as their favorite Marvel characters. And first, we're starting off with a Juggernaut, Josh Jacobs. And he gets it done on the ground every single game. 6 of 7 games this year, he has a touchdown. He has multiple in 3 of them this year, and now he gets to go against Carolina that has just been giving it up. We saw what James Cook did to them last week. So I like him
Yeah.
here in this spot. They're heavy home favorites. If he doesn't get 1, he'll probably get 2. So I like him
Yeah.
as just I was surprised a minus 150 seems too cheap for Josh Jacobs at home.
I would maybe even go 2 here. I wonder,
Yeah.
can you get plus money on a 2 touchdown here?
Yeah, his
Because
2
it might
touchdown
definitely be worth it.
is sitting around plus 450, plus 475 at some books. So depending on where you can find that, that's also available play here.
That's crazy. Who's next? Who else is getting a touchdown?
Next, we got Spiderman in Stefon Diggs. He does have one of the highest catch rates in the entire league right now, and he has shown a pretty good connection with Maye. That New England Patriots offense is kind of hit or miss on who the ball is actually going to, but I actually really like the matchup for Diggs here. Atlanta plays cover 1 at the highest rate in the entire league, and New England has been really good against it. They've been second best in the league, or second best EPA, only behind Green Bay against that cover 1 shell. And so I like them to kind of pick apart it, even though Atlanta's been pretty good against quarterbacks in general. And I like Diggs. He does have some regression, 4 touchdowns kind of coming his way too. He's only had 1 on the season. That was last week. I think there are more to come, and I like him here at a plus 165 price.
I do love the New England Patriots, and don't tell Tua that the Falcons have been good against quarterbacks, because one-eyed Tua got it done last week.
Yeah, it seems like those short targets are kind of the way you shred them too, and that's kind of Diggs' main working area.
Okay, both of those players have been at home. Always like betting on home players. I think you're taking me away on an away team now.
I am.
Who's getting the last touchdown?
The last one here, our highest odds, is Travis dressed up as the Hunter, and he is plus 220, but he's just seen his snaps and his offensive target rate increase the last 4 weeks. So I think after that bye week, it's all going to click a little bit more. I mean, it is just a lot to process joining the NFL and trying to learn both positions at the same time. I think the coaching staff realized they were just putting too much on his plate and have know that he can be an
Yeah.
elite wide receiver, especially with Brian Thomas Jr. being a little hit or miss this season. I think they are really going to focus on making this a good draft pick and just making him elite at one position before really making sure he gets going on the defensive side.
That would make sense. So hopefully they, are watching or something and they do that as well, because we need to get the offense going against the Raiders
Yeah, but
this
14
week. And they're,
targets
yeah,
was nice to
that's
see.
that is, his targets are there. He's just got to catch the ball and get into the end zone. And Trevor Lawrence has not got to stick his head in the sand.
Yeah. Travis
They're
Hunter
both coming
also,
off a bye.
yeah, has a very natural feel against zone defense, just kind of where to set, where to be. And we know that we can kind of pick on the Raiders' passing defense, that zone heavy rate. So I do like the matchup here. I think plus 220 is too cheap.
Sounds good. I think we are making it to the parlay now. We have Indiana Daniel Jones parlay. So we're going all in on the passing attack on both sides of this game. So the Colts are playing the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I like the over. I like this game to go crazy. We talked a lot about it also on DFS, and I'm on the over here. So the first leg of that parlay is the 50.5 points. Colts have scored over 30 points in their last 4 games. And I think with all the injuries to the Colts secondary, Aaron Rodgers can find some weaknesses to exploit and put some points on the board too. The Steelers themselves are averaging 22 points a game, more in the last few weeks as well. So between the two of them, I like them to hit the over.
I like it. These defenses have not really shown up. I don't think because they've had a couple of weak matchups, the Colts defense has really been exploited. But I don't think Lou Anarumo, the Colts DC, is really going to confuse Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has seen everything in the book, so I kind
Yeah.
of think we'll have some fireworks here.
Well, speaking of fireworks, we're going to pair that with Daniel Jones hitting his passing yard over. Right now, it's 250.5. Right at 250 is what we're seeing. It's been moving a little bit. Jones has been over this mark for 5 of 8 games. The 3 that he didn't make it, he didn't need to make it. It was Tennessee in week 3, the Raiders and the Cardinals as well. And the Steelers have allowed all of the quarterbacks that they faced to hit their over-under line for this season, which is kind of crazy to think about. I wanted to go with yards this week instead of attempts. Last week we went with attempts, and I was kind of sweating it out, which is why I wanted to go in on this game, because he had 29 attempts and the line was 30.5, and he had to sit that whole fourth quarter pretty much to not go on the over last week and for us to hit the parlay. So because of that, and then I looked back through all of his stats for the season, and he's basically thrown it 30 times almost every week, regardless of what Jonathan Taylor does. We're seeing Jonathan Taylor rush for hundreds of yards and score multiple touchdowns, and they're winning big, and we're still seeing Daniel Jones throw it 30 times. So that seems like the game plan. And I think if Daniel Jones hits the attempts line is 33.5, which isn't bad as well, because he would have easily hit that last week if he would have had to have played the fourth quarter. But if he hits that, he's going to hit the yards. And if we have a few big plays, which the Steelers do like to give up, then he will easily get to 250 yards.
Yeah, and Steichen himself has said that his mantra when it comes to the offensive side has been you pass to score and you rush to win the game. And so they've really been taking the ball out of his hands to ice the game. But I think this is going to be a competitive matchup and kind of back and forth. So we should see a lot more of Jones' involvement and not just Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and we can't forget that, last week, the Steelers allowed Jordan Love to complete 20 straight passes. If you let Daniel Jones complete 20 straight passes, he's, moving the ball even better than Love this year, and it's gonna result in 250 yards. So the last leg of our parlay is Aaron Rodgers to also hit his over on passing yards. His line is 235.5. And again, you can just go over top with the Colts. So I feel like it's going to be the bigger plays and not necessarily the shorter plays that we've seen a lot more of from the Steelers, I feel like. But maybe we get DK Metcalf involved, and maybe he's got, the 75-yard plays. And the Colts have also allowed the quarterbacks they've played against to hit their over-under lines in 6 of 8 weeks. The 2 exceptions were weeks 1 and 2. So they haven't stopped anybody in a while. They even let Cam Ward pass for 259 yards last week. So if Cam Ward can do it, come on, Aaron Rodgers, you can do it too.
They do have some key injuries in that secondary, and I think it is a bad matchup, especially against Metcalf. Metcalf is a tackle-breaking machine, and I think he's probably in line to have some big plays here.
I think so too. So hopefully we're going to hit this. It ends up being a plus 310, and I like it. We've done pretty well on these parlays. I also don't mind going back at the Titans, but I haven't built that one yet.
Yeah, that one. Not a lot of lines available on that one, but we have had a good start to the season. If anyone is betting along, let us know that your favorite plays or what you are taking for this week.
Yeah, exactly. That's it for week 9 player props. Drop us a comment with your favorite plays. Play smart, have fun, and we'll see you next time.